Could you imagine spending even one night away in jail, locked up behind bars? That must be truly a terrifying thing, but imagine spending years there. Now, further imagine spending what would be the rest of your natural life there. A little spooky and perfect for the season. What's up, turds, nerds, freaks, and geeks, and all that's in between? It's me, your girl, Daisy Dame. Welcome to, or welcome back to, my channel. I'm genuinely blessed to have you here. I wanted to look at the scariest criminals to be released this year. If you're a weary one, say less. In the last 2 decades, there has been a big decline in a certain time. We'll call it SK. And if you're curious what that means, just look at the screen right now. There are many theories as to why this is, whether it be new methods of investigation and methods of forensic science and cellular phones, increased connectivity, etc. Also, more mental health options. Well, finally, a win for mental health. But some may have stepped out of it before it even begins. So basically what it's saying, it's like even though they had maybe an urge, they had things to deter them, which is good to know. But thinking about criminals and spooky season, I was wondering, who are the scariest around still? You know, who are the most intimidating that we can say is still behind bars? Well, in 2006, we had the Eastbound Strangler. In 2001, there was the West Mesa murder. In 2010, there's a Long Island serial killer. And in 2019, there was one named Hercules. Can you imagine that? Speaking of madness, did you guys hear that there was something called the Purge? Well, it seems as though we all believed that the Purge was going to be a reality. And certain states wanted to push that quicker than we ever thought. Many thought that we would surely see the Purge in 2023 after the Safety Act ends cash bail, meaning that you could commit some very evil deeds and maybe be released either that day or the next day. Does anyone remember that? Well, it was put on hold. That's probably why we haven't heard much more about it. Oddly enough, it says that it was put on hold. It was meant to commence on January 1st, 2023. And isn't that so odd? Because that's what they would say, let the purge commence, or just commence. It's a strange word to use in this. I wonder why they set it back. I wonder what they thought would happen. So who is one that is due to be released and considered one of the worst in history? Well, one of the worst in history will be released in only a few months. Louis Garrito was a massively unwell person. Over the years, he endgamed over 190 boys. Y'all, this man was even known as La Bestia, meaning La Beast, the Beast. It's about to get worse, so just prepare your stomachs, okay? The ages ranged from 6 to 16. Not only was his sentence laughable, but this monster applied for early release. This monster applied for early release. That means he could be considered to be free in just a matter of a few months. Do you believe that someone who does something so awful can be redeemed? Or do you believe that there is a normalcy in life for them? Or do you believe that there's someone that cannot be helped? Or do you believe that it's an internal issue that can never be cured, one truly plagued by La Bestia or demons? He said he wanted freedom, and he wanted to confess to many others. He claimed that he felt this force and urge that he had to do what he had done. That's so disturbing. But even more disturbing is Brit's most dangerous and well-known serial killer will be out. It says that he will pass in prison in an underground glass box following his horrible, horrible crimes. Robert Mosley was in a psych facility and then a prison since he was 21. He was incorrectly named in the press as a Hannibal the Cannibal. But the thing is he clearly did not partake in dining on his victims. He's the longest running in solitary confinement for the UK, and that's pretty tragic. And when he does end up passing, his body will be put in a glass box so that researchers there can study his brain. It was claimed that he only went after offenders, piados, and the ones who commit the R. What do you guys think about this? Had you heard about this person? Do you truly believe that he only went after offenders? You know, the one I spoke about prior, like that type of offender. That's what they're saying this man from UK did. He said he didn't care. He wanted them gone. He remained in the same place since 1983. Every day the same. Every day in that small little room to spend eternity in a tiny, tiny box. Let's look at some that are well known that are still with us today. The Son of Sam, Dennis Rader, Gary Ridgway, and Charles Cullen are all those who are still alive today, and they are horrifying, scary people. Another really alarming thing I wanted to note is that multiple serials that exist today are nurses who did some really wild things at their job. And I know you can already imagine what I mean by that, but these are nurses. Yep, and they were not caring for the elderly. And it's scary. It's scary to think that. What was it that was so awful? Why did they have to do that? They didn't. Our justice system can seem complicated and overwhelming, but it could likely use an update. It's unfortunate because there are still certain things that work so well and other things that absolutely do not. For example, certain people do not know. I don't believe that certain people should go straight to jail or prison. I think they should be sent to rehab or help. I think they should be sent to a mental facility or a rehab or something of that nature to get the actual help they need before they're shoved into a box. One thing I do know is there are far too many people being sent to the wrong place. While I don't agree with the shuffle, which, by the way, it is very real, I do believe in those whom are struggling, they need an inpatient facility where understanding and compassionate nurses help them at their weakest, most vulnerable moments. Those who are fighting for their lives. Having an affliction does not excuse any wrongdoings. It's simply where they would need to go to seek help first. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for just a bit. Thank you for coming to your very own deprogramming session. Don't forget, like, sub, hit the bell, and thank you so much to my members. You are the coal that makes this train roll, and I could not do it without you. My socials, I have the Facebook, DameVonBonDaisy. I have Twitch, DameDaisy Plays. I have Insta, Snap, X, I'm on all those places. modmaggieart or damevonbonDaisy. You can just check in the description down below. You can find all that and sweet nothings and more. And the memberships are only $2 holla. So get it while you can. It will never be more affordable. And check me out on Whatnot, DameVonBonDaisy. Stay awake, stay aware, stay well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.